Hello and welcome to Different Perspectives. I'm Paul Indiho coming to you live from Washington, D.C. 1,000 days of war in Sudan. What began as a coup partnership in 2021 has devolved into the world's most severe humanitarian disaster, a conflict that has dismantled the very fabric of the Sudanese state. The numbers are staggering. At least 150,000 people have perished. 14 million have been uprooted from their homes, with over 4 million fleeing across borders into Chad, Egypt, South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, and other countries. While the Sudanese armed forces under General al-Burhani have recently re-entered Khartoum, the West remains in darkness. In Darfur, the fall of al-Fasher has triggered a second genocide. The RSF founder Hamiti tightens his grip to the region's remaining civilian centers. As the RSF consolidates at the west and the army reclaims the capital, is the world simply standing by the permanent partition of Sudan? And after 1,000 days of global apathy, is there any diplomatic leverage left to save what remains of Sudan? Well, to help us understand the cost of this stalemate, we are joined by four distinguished Sudanese familiar with the current situation on the ground. For the first time, we are having Ms. Amira Al-Sunusi, a Sudanese media personality in the US state of Alaska. Osama Al-Mustafa is an author and a dynamic media relations manager. Shakua Nyaketo, a journalist and a human rights activist based in Nairobi, Kenya. And Guy Yusuf, a genocide survivor and a human rights scholar at Georgetown University. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Different Perspectives.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you all for the first time. I guess maybe let's try to be gender sensitive. Let's start with the lady, the only lady on the panel, to bring us up to speed. Amira, I'm going to go to you first.
Thank you.
You are originally from Sudan. You have been closely monitoring what's happening in your country. Bring us up to speed. What are things like on the ground?
Thank you for so much for your caring or interested about what is happening in Sudan. And definitely what affects Sudan affect all Africa. And what happened to Sudan, to humanitarian, affect all the world, because all of us, we are human beings and we care about any human being, whatever he is, whatever his nationality, whatever his color. So thank you for your interest to talk about what we are suffering for. But what I want to say here, war in Sudan, it was not 1,000 days, it's 1,000 more, maybe years. We have in war since 50-something years we are in the war. All of us, we are survivors. Me, I am from Sudan, the big Sudan before they divide to South Sudan and North Sudan. I am from both. I am from South Sudan and North Sudan as well. So thank you for your interest and you care about what is happening in our country.
Let's go to Nairobi. Since you're closer to the ground, what are you hearing? What's the status of the current events as we speak?
Well, thank you very much, Paul, and thank you for hosting us all. And it's my pleasure to be together in a one panel with my country fellows. I appreciate everyone right here, and it's very good to talk about the current situation in Sudan. The uncovered stories that are ongoing right now in Sudan are very many, and the events are actually exceeding the limit and the speed every day. The situation right now in Sudan is worsening more than yesterday because we still reporting casualties, and we are reporting destructions as I talk to you right now. So the situation is still so bad, and the humanitarian situation is worsening day by day, not only but our by hour.
Osama, you have written extensively about the ongoings of the war, things that are happening to your country. Would you care to share with that what is it that journalists are not telling us about your country?
Thank you so much, Paul, and thank you for everybody here to join in this topic about Sudan and the war, what happened in Sudan. Actually, as Amira mentioned, we are from Sudan, the big Sudan before, and until now we are the same from south and north and west and east. And in particular, I gonna speak today about what I write. As an author, I decided a year before studying Sudan national crisis in my book, The Turning Point, the dialectic of belonging and window for peace in Sudan. I concluded that Sudan suffering is not sudden tragedy. It is result of long understanding and not strategic political for the future of Sudan from independent day of Sudan until now.
Mhm.
There is no understanding how to manage the diversity of Sudanese people and how to manage to get the benefit of the resource of Sudan and people suffering of this. So as we know in the beginning, again I speak little about history. After the independence, the war was happening in Sudan against people looking for their right. Ananya won. During that time, government of Sudan, army of Sudan, killed people, almost around 500,000 people dead in Sudan, in South Sudan, before Addis Ababa agreement in 1972. Later, there was a movement of, before movement of Garang, there was a 9-year too. Also, people die almost around 300,000 people. And then during John Garang agreement, before Nefasha agreement, people die in Sudan almost around 2 million people.
Yes, 2
died.
million.
Yes. And we know all about what happening also. The genocide happened in Darfur 2003. And this all happened by the government and by the army of Sudan, killing people, innocent people, people suffering. So for me, I think what's happening now in Sudan, it is like karma. What people face in South Sudan, face in Darfur, face in Jibal and Nuba, face and all this area is now reflected, because now one issue is very important. During the war in South Sudan, during the John Garang regime, movement, most of the people of South Sudan or Darfur went out of the country and study, and they get information, they got knowledge. So when they come back, they refuse to accept what's happening in Sudan. They start to build. Yes.
Let's go to Guy. Guy, you are a human rights activist. You've been speaking about what's happening in your country. Bring us up to speed.
Well, thank you. And again, as everybody has already stated, it's an honor to be here. And thank you all for giving us the platform in order to share our views on the current event in Sudan. As Shakur has stated, the catastrophe in Sudan has already exceeded like long time ago. And again, what's happening currently isn't really the that we're seeing now. This has been there, but the lack of media then is the reason why the struggle that we're experiencing now, and since it existed long time ago, is really not here on in the global stage that people could see. And this is because when there is a failure of a government to protect its own citizens, provide services to them, uh, it's the catastrophe or the falling kind of crisis is it's become normal. The government rather instead of providing services to its citizen, they choose to kill them just because they look different or they bear different political perspectives. So that being said, it is really the reason. And also one other fact is that the United Nations has never cared about protecting the civilians or people who are currently going through this struggle. One thing that they
Wait a minute. Should it be the responsibility of the United Nations or the responsibility
both
of Sudan, your country?
both of them, because the if well, United Nations has already reported that, oh, there is certain crisis taking place in Darfur. Now, in order to provide services to those civilians, obviously the government of Sudan has to allow the United Nations services to enter the region. However, one other thing that they fail to recognize is that these people, their place is not to be on camps. No, these people deserve to be um, enjoying services from their government and never to fear feeling unsafe in their home country. So this tells us exactly there is the government neglect the civilian or the whole region, as Usama recently or has mentioned that South Sudan war, Blue Nile, Nuba Mountain, these were considered as a blocked area where services don't go. We didn't have media. I live in a village where I had to go 2 hours away to just get water to drink and to collect wood in order to have fire at home. But I'm still Sudanese.
Yeah.
This is the big problem. And again, that being said, obviously, the only way that we will feel that we are belong to this Sudan is by completely eliminating this military regime that bears Islamic views, and I don't see any other way that would lead us to a victory of freedom and justice and equality for all Sudanese. We're not the same. Yes, we don't look the same, but we're all Sudanese. As Amira and Usama has signaled that they're from both South Sudan and North Sudan. This is exact signal of like, okay, we might have been politically divided not by our choice, but the choice of those who feel like our success is a threat to their being in power.
Hmm.
Uh, that tells you exactly the culture of Sudan is still the same, but we now have two different countries,
Mhm.
which is
Let's try to speak for a short time so that we give other people an opportunity also to weigh in as well, right? Now, this is a general question to all of you. All of you have lived in that country you call home, Sudan. You all have different experiences. You interact with different people. What seems to be at stake? Why are these factions fighting each other? Why is RSF fighting the government army? What's going on? For people who don't know, how can you educate us about what's happening in your country?
in my view.
Okay,
First,
Osama,
the Sudan or the military regime has been in power since what? Should
are you
I
hearing me?
since the independence,
Yes.
For
1956.
me, everybody
Hold on,
have
hold on,
I.
hold on. Let him finish.
Uh-huh.
Since 1956, this Sudan has been ruled militarily. We really seek to change Sudan into democratic country where everybody feels at home. This is the idea we bear and we still bear and would continue to bear until we reach to the point of change. However, the government of Sudan thinks, or the military regime, which is today the government of Muslim Brotherhood, things like our thought of advancing Sudan's better way of living is contrary to their being in power. That is that, and this is the same logic that has, or notion that has, led to the division of Sudan, where now we have South Sudan and Northern Sudan. Unless this Muslim Brotherhood government is completely eliminated, I don't see any uh, way of way to reach that change. However, there is a recent move, the government that recently established Al Tasis government. This is probably the best way that will lead us to seeing Sudan change, because firstly, the policies and ideas that they are really promoting are the ideas that I think every Sudanese sees themselves included, whether they have different political perspective or look different or practice different pace. All this, everybody sees themselves included in this, and the fact that they are fighting the Muslim Brotherhood government is also one notion that I strongly believe is the way that really will help us to get rid of the military ruling system.
I'll come back to that. Let's go to Amira. She had a point that she wanted to put across.
For me, maybe I look for the war from different way from everybody look, from RFS or the army of Sudan. All it was happening in Sudan, for me, I think only because of power. They don't care who they fight, who is suffering, who is the races in Sudan is not about the races like another countries. The races in Sudan is between poor and rich only. That is the races in Sudan. There is people in the power. They don't want anybody else to have what they have. Only this is for me. This is the problem of Sudan. Yes.
How about you, Osama?
Yeah, actually, my point of view in this particular issue is managing of how to use the diversity of Sudan. The problem, the big problem, that people in Sudan, they don't have knowledge or understanding how to make this diversity is important and to use it for the future of the country. So another issue, during Sudan after independence in 1956, last century, until now, the same war, the same issue is the same happening in Sudan. Army kill people of Sudan who asking, looking for their right and for the unity. What happened in Sudan and South Sudan 3 times. One happened in Darfur. This is the issue. How government and army of Sudan, they don't protect Sudan borders until now. There is many of Sudanese areas belong to other countries, and it's still Sudan army is killing only people. Same like what happening now is against Hemeti and his group, and against people before these people of Darfur. Now they are joining the Port Sudan government. This is the issue, and another important issue is Islamic brother is big problem in Sudan right now, and from
1968.
1956. 56.
Yes, until now
But
they're
it has
controlled.
been
Even
transition.
the first war in Sudan, in South Sudan, it was because people of South Sudan, most of them, as they imagine that they're from not Muslim, Christian. So the war was starting like that. And this is big issue. Right. We have to look at this. If we don't solve this problem, Sudan will not be back same like before during Nimeri.
And I strongly
before you go, let's go to
Sudan. Sudan is never going to be the same again. As Osama said, Sudan is never going to be the same again, because I feel comfortable right now, because the thought that I have and analyzing on what Amira and Osama said is completely, and we're fighting for the same cause, really.
Okay. I'll come back to you again. Let's give Shakua an opportunity. Shakua, you've been moving from one country to another since the war began. Right now, you say you are in Kenya, but you've been moving around with your family trying to flee the war. What can you tell us? What are the issues?
Well, personally, I have seen in myself that this, the displacement of all Sudanese people. And if I can just update you with the numbers, that today the number reached 11 million Sudanese people who are displaced right now. 11,750,000 something. I was just browsing the live reports that is happening right now. Now, out of those number, as one of them, I believe that the Sudan problem is the inability of accepting all the regions and all the people, and also the stubbornness of the fighting, groups, and also the selfishness of a particular group who has set to govern this country for quite long time, and the sense of that the Sudan belongs to a particular group of people who are supposed to continue governing that with imperialism and what you're all seeing. That's the one thing. The second thing is that, and this is not something that I say, everybody here agrees, and everybody said before, Sudan will not see the light of peace only when the people who have power accept the people who are out of power, and otherwise we remain fight. I witnessed the 2003 war in Darfur. I left my village 2003 Saturday afternoon. That was in the December. I have not come back to my village yet. I said I'm going to build myself in Khartoum. That was 2003. 2023, just 20 years later, I moved from Khartoum again. So you can imagine 20 years rebuilding. Am I going to expect another 20 years? I believe I'm going to be gripped in war.
Interesting. Since all of you sort of like share the same view, I wanted us let's talk about the humanitarian blockade. Both sides accuse each other. For example, the government accuses RSF of blocking humanitarian aid, using hunger as a weapon. The RSF says the same thing. What are you guys able to gather on the ground?
Let me answer this question here. If really the government care about the Sudanese humanitarian, and if the areas against Sudanese, all these refugees from Sudan, from where you writing now and you counted, did you see any responsible person from Sudan government see these refugees in anywhere and take care of them? If really you fight someone, you against him, you fight him because he destroy your country and he kill your civilian, and he do what? What you as government did? I want anybody to come to say the government in Sudan, in Port Sudan, he go visit people in Chad, in Adri, in Ethiopia, in Egypt, everywhere, and care about their own. If someone kill me and you fight and you arrange army and you bring everybody and you bring gun from abroad, you bring shooting gun from everywhere because you want to fight allies, what do you do for your civilian? The people who go to around you. When you go, where one day you go to visit them, you don't have problem with Kenya, you don't have problem with Uganda, you don't have problem with Chad, you don't have problem with Ethiopia, you don't have problem with Egypt. Did one day you as government of North or government of Port Sudan, do you go and visit them and care about them? Why? If really war between two people, you have to take care about your civilian people who run abroad.
Great point. A great point.
Important issue also.
I want to point out
Sure.
something that Brother Shakur has said. Shakur, and I'm very pleased that we are finally here together. He mentioned an incident of 2003. We all experienced that. And again, 20 years later,
You're a survivor of genocide as well.
Yes, from Darfur to Khartoum. We all gone through that. Coming to Khartoum, you try to rebuild your life. But again, no, you're getting arrested just because you're from Darfur. That being said, it is an experience that is going to last with us for the rest of our life. Why would I trust the same government that claim to be an advocate or want to, just speak for everybody? Not me, not for me though. I just want to make that point clear. So what I'm trying to say, like, why would we government to now lead another Sudan? The only pathway is change. And I just want to make that point and applaud Brother Shakur for bringing that up. Really,
let me jump
cannot-
in before you respond. How about people who said that the genocide? Both of you are talking about the genocide that happened in the past, but there are allegations as we speak today that there is another genocide happening, courtesy of RSF, because they control that region of Darfur. What do you say about that? How would you respond to those people, those reports that we've read, those reports that you've seen, the people that I've talked to who claim that the RSF soldiers in that area are committing crimes against humanity?
Can I answer this question?
Please, go
Because
for it.
this is my field. I was working in Al Arabiya TV channel in 2003 during the war, the genocide happened in Darfur. And I am the one who mentioned that to the manager of the TV, that there is genocide happening in Darfur, and they make me they give me a budget, me and 4 people, to go to Darfur to see that what happening there. At that time, we went to Sudan embassy. They refused to give us an opportunity to go, and then we go to Chad consulate. There was a consul, his name Idris at that time, and he gave us an opportunity. We went to Chad, and then we went to
Jinena,
the Boulder. Boulder, this city, I forget the name. So we pass, we get inside Sudan, and we make that footage and video of how they kill people, how they burn the houses, how they tied the men leg and pull them with the horses. At that time, we came back, and in 4 days, we come back to Dubai, and we make the report. That report bombed the issue of what happening in Darfur at that time. So the genocide is not from
something new.
Yeah, it's not new. And
yeah, we are not talking about the past. We are talking about the present.
Yeah,
how do you?
Because of why I mentioned that, because at that time, Al Burhan was the manager of
investigation, Inspector General.
Yes, that city, the city of
Dalinje.
Dalinje. He was there, and he is the one who give order to the people who kill people there.
But Hamiti was the person. Hamiti was the person in charge of the militias, right?
Hamita was not there at that time. There was Musa
Hamiti
Hilal.
was a businessman at the time. You see, again, Musa Hilal is
there was Musa Hilal. He was Musa Hilal belonged to Al Burhan at that time, and he get an order from Burhan to go and to kill the people there. What happening there in 2010? I think those young people now, Guy and
So if I hear you correctly, you seem to suggest that what's happening there has been ongoing for the last 20 years, right? It has never stopped. But more recently, we've seen higher levels of violence against civilians. You have so many women in refugee camps. You have so many children who are lost in those refugee camps. Everybody is running away from that area that is controlled by RSF. So who is committing the crimes?
Yeah, actually, I want just to mention one more important issue. What's happening as genocide, not only in that area of RFS or
it's all over the country.
Yes,
the killings are happening all over the country.
Area of the Army Force of Sudan,
right?
And what happening there also happened in South Sudan. Long time. American
same tactics.
Yes, same tactic. they just repeat it,
Mhm.
the same tactic, the same
So-
way of understanding the others.
For me, I will say anybody work under army with any name, they do what army do, what order. Because when you are working under army, the order of army have to be done. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're
My
right.
problem here, I don't blame him T group or if you are the control of army, if you are the boss, if you are the general of army, what you say the army do? And
They
if the
implement.
army one day he say, no, what are you doing? I don't want to do anymore. Even that what say, even in Himiti, they create him by them to kill people in Darfur. Okay. One day he wake up, he say, what am I doing is wrong. I don't want to kill my people anymore. I want to support my people. When he come to see the people who have Sudan really how they live, he too was living in bush. He too was suffering. His family, they are suffering. All our family in Darfur and Kordofan, they are suffering. Still in this 2026, women get baby alone themselves under the tree.
Mhm.
So when he see the other people, how they live, he say, no, I don't want Sudan to be divided to two. We want Sudan to be one. We want to live together. We cannot say this is black, this is white, this is Arab, this is African, this is Muslim, this is where. Why this same Hemiti now he become for them a bad person? Before the war, before the army of Sudan create this war, today, General Burhan was saying, without Hemiti, I cannot do anything in Sudan good. Why second day he become bad person? Because he say, I don't want to divide Sudan?
Mhm.
No. And any war, my brother, any war in the world, any war, there is people die and there is something will cause genocide.
Mhm.
But
That's a great point. That's a great point.
we have to stop genocide. Not we say how it's happening. When is war, it will happen. When is war, it will happen. War is not fun. And more these people, they die by airplane, by bomb. This my son here, survivor of genocide, he know. People was not shooting by gun. A lot of people in this Darfur Kordofan, they don't die by bullet. They die by plane. Who have plane? Who bombed the kids, the woman, the plane, the cow, the sheep, the everything? Who burned the place? Who?
So that's a valid point, but there are those who also argue that RSF uses drones to bomb some of those places. How would you
But then,
square that?
the, for then the interesting part here involving drones. Basically, yes, the RSF uses drone. However, let's investigate and find out what did they target. Did they target innocent civilians or they target the military bases? Those are the core difference. So the fact that the RSF knows who they are targeting, in this case, is the military regime. It's as simple as that. And yes, we agree. And I guess as Amira mentioned, that there are a variety of names that the military regimes gives to those who are doing their betting or doing the killing in the region of Darfur, Blue Nile, Nuba Mountain, and any other part of Sudan. It's really valid because they easily manipulate. In this case, Musa Hilal is good example. They manipulate them and then they give them money vehicle that exactly looks like the RSF vehicle. They do the killing and then now drag the RSF into the global stage as the one who does the killing. Let's investigate. And again, this also leads us to the responsibility that the international community has. If they are truly curious on preventing the atrocities from taking place in the region, they are capable of stopping. But again, hey, it's 2026 and everybody's looking for their own interest. That's what it's all about, and that's how the United Nations fail to support and protect innocent civilian in the whole Sudan, both north and south and
Yeah.
west and east.
Okay, let me follow up on that. I think you bring up a very good point. There is this, what I would maybe call global indifference, right? So, why does the world's largest displacement crisis continue to receive less attention, less funding than minor regional conflicts? You guys talk to people on the ground. What seems to be the problem? going back to the point that you just made earlier, talking about how the United Nations and other aid agencies are just standing by.
I think firstly the Sudanese people, they have been manipulated to believe in something that they are not for a very long time ago. Now these manipulator were able to dominate or to control the thinking of the Sudanese people. Now you can't think out of that box. If you try to breathe an oxygen that is somewhat democratic or seeks justice for all, now you are given a hammer in the head. You are gone. Uh, Otherwise you have to flee the country. That's what happened. And the fact that the global actors have neglected the case of Sudan is because they don't know really what Sudan has to offer. We're the sixth country in the world that are capable of providing food to the globe. Also, you have 75% of the gum arabic is distributed, or its distribution comes to the comes from Sudan. All these gums do contribute to, like, medicine making and other materials. This is what we offer, and we have far more resources than that. But because the leaders or the actors have not discovered, or they haven't seen by their own eyes, they don't believe it, and that's like, okay, Sudan has nothing that I want. In this case, I'm just going to neglect, or I'm not going to vote in favor of ending the war, because also the fueling of war in the region, it is a great investment or economic growth to many countries or some countries.
Osama, you captured this as in some of your writings.
Yes.
Can you maybe try to explain to us why the world has kept at bay? Why we don't see these aid agencies flocking Sudan, helping these people who are in refugee camps?
Actually, I'm gonna start my speak by Sudan belong to all people. Equality without explained peace cannot be achieved without domination. Stability cannot be built through fear. People of Sudan is fear. People of Sudan, even they don't know how to explain to the foreigner, I mean to the people overseas, what happened in Sudan. And the other important issue is the media of the other part giving very wrong information about what happened in Sudan. So because of that, the international world, they don't know how to deal with what happening in Sudan. Because they're confused. For me, my advice is to the people of the government of the Assis. They have to build their media to explain to the people overseas what's happening there in Sudan. And the future of Sudan depends in courage of the people to accept anyone except
One
other.
another.
Yes.
Amira.
Yeah.
For me, yes. For me,
I wanted to ask you a question, Amira.
Yes.
When you look at some of the videos coming out, images coming out of Sudan, I see a lot of women. I see a lot of children. I see men too, but mainly you see a lot of women who are displaced. When you've talked to your fellow women, what are their concerns? How can the international community help those women, those young children that we see all over the refugee camps?
Okay, you will go back to my question before. You ask why Sudan is nobody know about our problem and there is no help. I will answer you. I will ask you another question. Who control people to come to Sudan?
The government, probably.
Yes. So if another media, these people, they are in the media 34 years, they are control media of Sudan. So if now anybody want, today morning, Boles, he say, he thank people of Therefore, they allowed help to enter Al-Fashir today after 9 months or 8 months of suffering.
Yes.
But if you are the government and the media is under your hand and the army is under your hand and you are the fighter and you are the feeding and you are the killing, who will come after you? Ask them, ask government of North Sudan, how many times people come, they want to help and they kick them out because they don't want to through. 3, 4 times they ask Hemiti, we want to bring people from abroad to study and to know really what is happening. He agree. He say, I'm agree. Send people, let him come and check about the genocide. North Sudan refuse, say, no, we don't agree. You cannot enter with any help to North Sudan because, see, help to come to Sudan or come by airplane is come to North Sudan because we only have one safe airport is in North Sudan. Or come by water is come through North Sudan.
What's Sudan?
But any help come to Darfur through Niala, every day there is bombing, any different country of airline. What they are making agreement with North Sudan, they are bumping the food hooks coming to help. You, I think you know in the media, how many car of UN want to bring food to Darfur and they shooting from up by bombing and they are in bearing by fire. So there is no safe airport, no safe border, at least in North Sudan. So if we Sudanese, we cry, we say the people, they don't help us. Our government don't need anybody to help us. So who will help us?
Great point. Let me go back to you, Shakur. You are out there. We hear reports of Khartoum being retaken by the government forces. Obviously, RSF has also taken the western part. How are things developing on the ground? What can we learn from the latest developments?
Well, in this very particular junction, I can say people are suffering in the both sides, in Khartoum and also in the western side. And we heard that yesterday or just today, the government the government resumed working from Khartoum instead of Port Sudan. It is no longer Port Sudan government. Now they are back to Khartoum. But if you are going back to Khartoum and you would like to govern in Khartoum, we need to ask questions about the people who are in Khartoum right now. How about the health services? How about the education service? How about the safety? And how about the rules of law and regulations? Because since you are coming back to Khartoum, there are a lot of people who are extrajudicially executed. There are so many people who are being, accused that they are, loyal to RSF. There are so many things that are happening in there in Khartoum. It is not about who captured which city and who does what. It's about who gives service, who gives peace, who gives tranquility to the people. The people of Khartoum today, they are living in a very high cost of living. If you are staying in any other city in the world, you can't compare it to Khartoum life right now or other states in Khartoum. So what we are seeking is not who captured which city. It's who is actually going to bring peace, who is going to bring stability to the place where they are right now. We also need to know the fact that right now RSF is capturing areas of Sudan and the army is capturing areas of Sudan. For me, as a normal citizen, as a Sudanese citizen, I need a safe place. Right now, I left my office in Khartoum and I left my family in Niala. Where am I going to stay? Am I going to live abroad and talk on the media? So I am from Darfur. I have right to go back tomorrow to Khartoum and resume my office, my work right there. And I have the right to flee or fly from Khartoum airport again back to Niala airport, same as before, regardless of who is governing right there. So my opinion is that people are still in crisis, despite the advancement that claimed by the government right now, whether they are going back to Khartoum, but they cannot go back to Khartoum where life is still as same as.
Okay.
So I think I'm
I
just
think.
going to add.
Okay,
I'm
go
going
ahead. Go ahead.
on. I'm just going to add on what Shakur said. It's very valid point he has, but in my view, I think the return of civilians from Sudan, who have been like
Yes,
um
over to you, Mr.
in
Paul.
a different who were forced to flee. Basically, I think returning now to Khartoum is a dangerous move. I can honestly tell you that because um recently, if you notice, about 3 or 4 days ago, the government of Pakistan have provided extreme weapons drone to the so-called government of Sudan, or the military regime, which is the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, the Pakistan supported this group just because they bear or practice views or aligns with what Pakistan wants, and this is like, okay, coordination or alliance of Islam, basically. That's what this support camps to the government is about. And again, we're not going to tolerate any Islamic brotherhood ideology in Sudan. The war is going to continue, and it might resume in Khartoum. So, knowing that, it's the reason that make me to say I think returning to Khartoum, it is very dangerous. Policy or idea for people to return to Khartoum, because you just don't know when
Let me go to
when to
something
resume.
else that I wanted us to talk about, the issue of accountability. Uh, can we see maybe at some point both the key players, Al Burhani and Hamiti, brought to justice? Can they face international justice for the crimes both of them have committed? Is there something like that that maybe the international community, you people in the diaspora, are pushing for to have these people face justice? And it's open to any one of you guys.
In the legal
For
context,
me, I think if this same thing happen, Hemiti will go to justice, but Borhan and his group, no one of them will go there. 100%. I give you my word now. After 10 years, come back if I'm alive, ask me. If there is justice, Hemiti will go to the chair of justice because they will follow with him the strange face, the one that is not from where. I don't want to be here racist too. But he can go to the genocide or to anywhere. But Al Burhan with his group, none one of them will go to the chair of question.
I
Actually,
think
they already made the
accountability,
name already mentioned there.
yeah, the notion of accountability
They will not go.
has
And
never
believe me, I want to give you
of
one thing more. You know why the
because
president want to go to Khartoum? Because they want another people, the poor people, like our kids, to go back to Khartoum to use them for fighting again. Because they want to take another boys to join them to go to the army to fight. And everybody say, I am not going there since you are not there. When they go to the government, definitely where he living or where he sleep, there is light, there is water, there is airplane to bring from him fish fresh from Port Sudan, the government. But the people there, they want people to go back, so they join them and they make another war to go to fight with another people, maybe in Kassala or in north, east or west. No, they come to Khartoum for joking. They come to bring the boys to go to fight for them only.
Do
so
you anybody else
yeah
want to weigh in on the issue
in
of
the in the
accountability?
in the legal context, accountability in Sudan has never been off the
Happen.
table. I'm not aware. We brought, and I used to work at the National Criminal Court. Uh, the funny thing is the practices within the international law or within the court. Yes, they speak in the media a lot, but in practice, everything is different. If and there are clear evidence to convict those crime against humanity, war crime in the region of Darfur, Blue Nile, Nuba Mountain, uh, South Sudan, and whole Sudan. All these criminals are today walking free. You have Al Bashir, who has this arrest warrant, Ahmed Harun, and all these, group. They are walking free. Really, if international community, we understand also the international court does not have military to just go and arrest these people. It just relies on the intervention of other sovereign states to arrest these criminals. But um, there is no curiosity of arresting these people. Yes, we have enough evidence to prove that certain this crime have been committed. Accordingly, as the international based on or according to the arrest warrant that has been issued by the International Criminal Court, all these crimes are committed exactly like that. But now that there is an arrest warrant again, I think the blame goes back to a whole international community who claim to care for safety, security of civilians, but they fail to implement the very legal uh, um, uh rules or the document that has been issued. Like, they should have just arrest al-Bashir. And yes, if again, as Amir said, if al-Burhan today is arrested or being issued an arrest warrant, him and Himeti, I agree, Himeti would appear before the court. And again, as Amir said, the only person that, or the um felon who will not show up are the military affiliated person, because they know that they would easily be convicted. There are so much evidence to prove their crime.
We're almost out of time, but I wanted to touch the issue of foreign influence. You just talked about Pakistan supplying some weapons but there are also other regional players who are supplying weapons. To what extent are these regional groups influential to the extent that they are able to influence whatever is happening on the ground, either by supporting RSF or the government forces?
Was that for Shuriyamin or?
So, Osama or Amina, you can take it up.
Yeah.
Again,
Osama,
can you just mention what you said again?
No,
Because
I
didn't-
said let's look at the issue of international. Guy earlier talked about the issue of Pakistan. So there is foreign influence. There are regional powers, regional players who are supplying weapons, drones, funds to keep this war going. Is this still a Sudanese war, civil war, or it has become a proxy war for all these people who want to have a stake in Sudan?
Actually, definitely Sudanese people, the government of Port Sudan, they want to mention to the people that the war is not only war of Sudan, as and Sudanese people only. It is belong to outsider governments. But in my opinion, the war is Sudanese start this war, and they have to solve their problem, not to
Blame.
mention other countries that they make the war in Sudan. Yeah, definitely, any government have to make agreement with to bring a weapon to their place from any place. But the important issue that now they used to mention RSF, they bring weapon from UAE, for example, and now they bring weapon from Turkish, from Pakistan, from Iran. And why don't they mention that Iran and Pakistan and Turkish, they make war in Sudan? This is important question we have to ask the people.
I think it's very true.
for me, is my question
There
is
is no
different.
war.
If we are population on Sudan, if we are 14, how many human being is from Darfur and Kordofan? That is my question.
So the
To bring
percentage
for
of
them
the
weapon from
dominant
Pakistan,
population.
how many of they?
Okay. Please, Guy, go ahead. You're making a
Yeah,
point.
I mean, there is no war without external influence, but this external influence must be interpreted correctly. Is it their supplies of weapon or whatever deal they have with the opposing party? Is it in favor of the civilian or is contrary to the right of civilians? Those are the major questions. And again, what legitimizes the South to gain weapons from Iran, Turkey, and Iran, and it's not okay for the RSF or Al Tasis government to gain weapons or support from any other uh, countries. I think everybody has their own deals to make to use those support for the fight. That would help them to achieve the goals and also to be able that to be able to achieve exactly what the civilians want or the fight that they are uh, um, uh, willing to win over the Muslim Brotherhood government.
We are almost out of time. I wanted us to touch very briefly on the healthcare system. Yes, we talked about the refugee crisis, but with everything happening, you have the collapse of the healthcare system, with nearly 70% of all the hospitals destroyed. How do we prevent silent killers like cholera, like malaria, malnutrition from taking more lives than the bullets?
Okay, I guess 1 second only. Don't believe that they say during the war hospital or something in Sudan crisis. All it crisis in Sudan before war. If you have money, you go to the government hospital, you never get medicine. All the specialist hospital in Sudan is belong to the people who is in government in Sudan. Don't believe that we have crisis in Khartoum because of the war. Before of the war in Khartoum, people they are not getting medicine. If you are poor, if you are living after of the screen or the circle of the people who is ruling the government.
Which is
If
very
you
true.
go to Silah Tibbi, where is the hospital of army, and you belong to the army, belong to Al Burhan, you get good treatment. Even they can send you by plane abroad to treat. Inside
So
Khartoum,
basically,
if you go to any hospital, there is no medicine. So this is not a story of crisis. It's old. That's why we
so
want to change all this.
okay, so exactly, I
Mhm.
absolutely agree with Amira's point of view or the way she will stated. Um,
Sorry.
the crisis of what she says basically the collapse is not like today. It has the healthcare system has been collapsed a long time ago, and the fact based on her what she point out, um, it is the very reason why the public resists and chose to change because of the crisis. The healthcare, as she said, you go to hospitals to seek care, but then again, oh, unless you know somebody in a higher position, then you kind of be able to help. But again, I absolutely what she said it sums up that the healthcare in Sudan has been broken for a very long time ago. Maybe this is just a utilization of getting certain point across. Yeah.
Uh, Shakua and Osama, I'll give you the last word. Your thoughts on what can be done maybe to prevent further escalation?
Thank you for my last speech is the future of Sudan depend on courage of accept other and may Sudan choose wisdom over destruction, justice over operations, and unity over divisions. This is what I want people to think about it for the future. I know Tassis is looking for democracy, and now most of the parties of Sudan is joining Tassis, and Tassis is not looking for separation of Sudan because separation of one nation is a big problem for the future, as we know now what happened in South Sudan and North Sudan. So my advice is we have to look for peace, to run forward to get the peace. The people who refuse the peace or negotiation, they are never give any opportunity to let people of Sudan, in particular the civilian, to be safe. This is my last speech in this part, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Shakur, go for it. You have the last word. Shakur, you have the last word.
Am I clearly heard?
Yes, you have the last word. Can you tell us how do you, where do you want to see your country go?
Yes.
Based on what we see on
Can
the
you hear
ground.
me?
Yes, go for it. Okay, guys, it's been, and thank you so much. Thank you, Guy, Mila, Shakur, and Osama. Thank you all. It's been an absolute pleasure to host you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We thank
I
you
think
so much.
Yeah, stick
your
around for
network
a
was
minute.
loading.
Yeah, stick around for
before
a
I
minute.
complete my.
Oh, okay, go for it. Okay, you have something to say? Go for it.
Yes, I was going to say, we reach to a situation where we don't hope. Actually, we don't hope for things to happen, but I think it is a time we need peace enforcement instead of just requesting and asking those who stubbornly don't want to come down to table to talk. Maybe the Sudanese people should right now enforce the peace on those who don't really want peace, because we are seeing that the situation is going on. Just a few months ago or a few weeks ago, the Sudanese army leader said we'll fight for 100 years. What does that mean to me as somebody from Darfur? Meaning that I am supposed to prepare my sons and my generation to fight for the next 100 years. This is a very big mistake, and such words actually must be held accountable, and we also need to stop speaking in such way. That's what I want to say, is that to call upon everybody who is right now having power from the two sides to actually succumb to the peace and accept the fact that nobody will finish anybody. So, what is happening from my personal perspective, it's supposed to happen is that unless we enforce peace and we start transitional justice and we start actually accepting each other, we are not going to actually settle this country to peace very soon.
Thank
Okay,
you so much.
thank you so much. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much, lady and
Thank you,
gentlemen.
Alan.
It's been a pleasure to host to all of you. Thank you so much. We'll
Thank you.
continue to monitor the latest developments in Sudan, bring you context and analysis. And to our viewers, don't forget to like and follow and subscribe to me, Paul Ndiho, on Substack, X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. We'll see you on another episode of Different Perspectives. For now, so long from Washington. Thank you
Thank
all.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Stick around.